And it's just video of Victor Wembanyama going absolutely crazy, which he continues to do as this series shifts to the Twin Cities, throwing it down. But on the other end, Steph Castle to Victor Wembanyama, points on 70% shooting, blocks, and a win, and a series lead. And Wemby says they're not even close.
I think we showed
trying to, figure out ways to find an open man around him, because in the paint he's just everywhere, So just trying to, like I said, find ways to find somebody who open. Yeah, I feel like we had a good dose of that throughout the whole game. I think, like I went in the locker room and told the guys, like, we had a bunch of great looks. I feel like we had a bunch of great looks, and if we make our shots, we win this game.
Victor Wembanyama became the 4th player in NBA postseason history to score 35 points, grab 15 boards, and block 5 shots. Look at the other 3. Come on, man. Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, Hall of Fame, champion. Hakeem did it 3 times. Shaq did it 3 times. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it twice. Meanwhile, with just over 5 minutes to go after the loss.
Pretty unprofessional, huh?
Well, you could just kind of tell us
I wanted the timeout.
Yeah.
And I had called it 3 seconds earlier, and I wanted the timeout, and I said I want my 3 seconds back. And so, and because he clearly heard me, he looked my way, ignored me, went on with the play, and then where the ball was going to be taken in, and he was screamed at me for that. So completely unprofessional behavior by him.
Back-to-back nights, 2 different series where we've seen refs not scared to mix it up with the players and clearly the coaches as well.
Rare that you see a referee have to be restrained.
Yeah.
That was different in the postseason when everybody's watching.
From Mr. Silver.
When everyone's watching. We're all watching the festivities in the Eastern Conference. Let's go down to Philadelphia, where the MSG flourishing Agua of Lake Finn to dunk on you.
In there.
The Knicks are shooting 55%. Youth basketball coach loves it. Knicks are up 3 games to none. Mike Brown on Brunson being a safety valve.
His name on Snoopy Linus. He got a blanket. I'm Linus. Jalen's my blanket. So he gets me. He helps me relax in a lot of different times throughout the course of games. But that's what great players do. They keep you poised. They make the game easier for everybody else, and they help you get through the stretch.
Came back down, 3-1. This is tougher. So just going there, understanding that, we can't take, get it all back in one game. So win one, focus on the next one, win the next one. That should be the mentality.
Philly getting shut down by those boys from down the road at Villanova. It's the first time the Knicks have led a series 3 games to none since the 2013 first round against the Celtics. No team in NBA history has ever come back from a 3-0 series deficit. 161 wins, 0 losses. That's almost an entire baseball season.
Randy, lace him up. We are knocking on the door of cashing that. 12 points in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter for just Ant-Man himself, who went north of 30 points, though nobody else on the Timberwolves scored more than 17. Let's go to the 4th quarter. Victor Wembanyama, taller, lankier, more finessier than yours. Oh, yeah, and also he's got range. Hits the triple, 70 points in the 4th quarter, and the Spurs get the win. They're up 2 games to 1 in this series. It's just not fair. Quentin Richardson on the program, joining us now. Q, Victor Wembanyama, Hakeem, Shaq, and Kareem, the only ones since blocks became official in 1973 to have 35 points, 15 boards, and 5 blocks in a playoff game. You watch what Wemby is doing, and he's still rounding into form, but you're seeing what he's doing already, and you think what?
I think, to answer your question, in another year or so, it will be unfair to have Wembanyama on your team. Like, what he's becoming so quickly, like we saw him come in, this rail thin kid with so much potential, and we watched him in 1-2 years just take huge, not strides, but leaps every year, and getting with his mentality, filling out his body, getting stronger. It's literally nothing he can't do out there on the court. So it's just a matter of time before all things continue to line up and he gets to such a powerful strength that, like, he's literally running around there like Thanos and nobody can do anything about it.
It's funny you mention that, because he's still lanky and he's still just a kid. And after last night's win, he said, the Spurs collectively, we haven't even tapped into half of our potential. That is scary. All right, let's go to the Eastern Conference side of things. The Knicks look like they have this series figured out and wrapped up. So we're going to ask the question, what chances are you giving the Knicks of winning the championship this year?
Listen, I love the way the Knicks look right now. I feel like this is one of the greatest opportunities. But before I go crown Knicks the king of the East, and yes, I am once a Knicks. Let's just think about this. This season, when the Knicks played those Pistons, there's possibly going to be waiting for them. They beat them by 31, 38, and 15.
Mm-hmm.
So while the Knicks definitely look different than I feel like they looked earlier in that season, they playing different ball. And I still got a lot of faith in the Knicks. I got to see them do it against those Pistons before I just give that title to them.
Listen, man, credit to where it's due. The Knicks, they are cohesive, they're having fun, and they are playing some darn good basketball. ESPN projections give them a 20% chance to win it all. Second only to the defending champ Thunder, 45% chance to win it. QR hanging out with us all morning long. Q, much appreciated.
I'm not old enough to remember.
Lakers looking for the equalizer. The Lakers offense is exactly what it needs to be right now. Up near the rim and put down by James. The Lakers in front. Holmgren powers in, gets it to go. This is Thunder basketball. Williams, he's got a chance for four. The turnovers have just killed them.
Usually the team that imposes their will more just wins. And that's probably why we won tonight.
Oh, no, the Thunder are good and they're cocky. Quentin Richardson is back as promised. We scan the NBA for the best stories. It's time for the QR code. Q, let's start there. The code the Lakers must live by if they have a chance to win Game 3. What is it?
No doubt. Obviously, they need another big-time scoring game from A.R. Reeves like that. He came out, led them, and he looked like the Austin Reeves from the season. They could use another game like that for sure. Still need LeBron to be LeBron like he's consistently been. But I look at the others, man. You need big games from Rui, from Luke Kennard, from Marcus Smart. You need them to chip in big ways. And you need Ayton to have some type of presence offensively. He's done better on the boards, but he needs to do something offensively. And lastly, their defense needs to be on point. The doubling, the way that they're having SGA struggle, and he's been okay, but he has not been SGA this series. So you got to take your hat off to JJ and the staff, and actually the players for executing the scheme they came up with. But they got to keep that defense up.
It's scary to see that the Thunder continue to win when SGA doesn't have to go full Voltron. He only played 28 minutes last game in a Thunder win. All right, the early one today is the Pistons taking on the Cavs. Detroit, they were down, it feels so long ago, 3-1 to Orlando. They've won 5 straight since. In your eyes, Q, what changed?
I feel like when they got to the brink of elimination, 3-1, the Magic had them on the ropes, and they saw their season's mortality on the line. I feel like since that moment, they played with a greater sense of urgency as a team overall. Their defense have stepped up. The guys have stepped up individually, offensively. Cade Cunningham has been the one constant, but also now you have Tobias Harris. And salute to Tobias, man. I was in Detroit for his first stint before he left, and he came back for this stint. Professional, perfect pro, and just to see him doing what he's doing is awesome, man. He's had 7 straight games of 20-plus points, and he's become the second guy on this team. And right now, in this Cavs-Pistons series, Tobias is the 3rd best player in the series by production after Cade and Donovan, and that says a lot.
The Pistons up 2-0 in the series, though the Cavs, because it's in Cleveland, favored by 4.5 points today. We'll see how that plays out. Quentin Richardson joining the program on SportsCenter. Q, thanks.
No doubt.
And before you make a play today, we got to hear from Aaron Dolan on SportsCenter. EKD, what's the move in the Pistons and Cavs?
So I'm looking at Cade Cunningham to go under 27.5 points. He's averaged 24 points so far through those first 2 wins, but Cleveland hasn't necessarily allowed him to go off the way that we saw against Orlando in the previous round. And a lot of that came down to the fact that they were in a hole, and towards the end of that series, he really had to put up 30-plus point performances. He's not in that same situation today. They are up 2 games with this series heading to Cleveland, and Cleveland's a place where they've won every single game at home so far in this postseason. So when we look at his points prop, we We've seen it as low as 26.5, as high as 28.5. So this is right there in the middle, but I'm going to go under on K today of 27.5.
Yeah, he's been right at 25 a couple of times. All right, let's go out west. The Thunder, 8.5-point favorites against this Lakers team. It's a lot on the road in LA. How are you approaching this one?
It's a big adjustment in terms of the spread, but I would still lay the 8.5 points. I think there's value there. If you look at the last two games, I mean, they were laying 15.5 points, 16.5 points, and they won both of those games and also covered the big digit spread. And on top of that, if you just go back to last game, I mean, the Lakers, they pulled it close within that fourth quarter. They were within 5 points, and still OKC won and covered. They are outmatched in every single category. That is the Lakers. But I just think that even though this is at 8.5 on the road, that's one of those spreads that I would lay because OKC is just a way better team.
Average margin of victory in the regular season was 29 points per game. All right, OKC has just been scoring at will. Aaron, how can we get in on that fun?
I'm looking at SGA to go over 29.5 points. I've been backing this guy up over the last two games, so eventually I feel like he's going to have a big scoring performance. But look, he struggled. We're not going to come on here and say that he hasn't so far. I mean, 18 points in game one, 22 in game two, but he's not a bad scorer by any stretch of the imagination. And last game, obviously, he got into some foul trouble. So knowing that this has been adjusted actually up from what we saw in game two, eventually SGA will have a big scoring performance. And considering I like them and laying the 8.5 points, I'll take him to over 29.5 today.
Yeah, staying out of foul trouble ski. SGA's only visit to the Lakers this season, he put up 25 points in 28 minutes. Aaron Dolan, thank you.
Not at stake here in game two. George with his fourth three-pointer. Knicks down by one with the fourth to play. We're going to have a great finish here in New York. They haven't had a close game in a while. These last 4 games have been stress-free. 25 lead changes, most in a playoff game in 13 years. Brunson the fake. Falling away, puts it up. That's good. Jalen Brunson in the clutch.
These are the games that help us grow. For us to find a way to win tonight it speaks volumes about everyone in that locker room.
The time is now.
New York laced up them Tims last night, and Harlem shake their way to a 3-0 series lead against the Sixers. So can they bust out the brooms and sweep Philly out the playoffs? It's the 5th time in franchise history that the Knicks have taken a 3-0 series lead in a best-of-7 series. They managed to end 2 of the previous 4 series in a sweep. Then as for Game 4, New York is currently a 1.5-point favorite according to DraftKings Sportsbook. So we say good morning to our NBA analysts, Quentin Richardson and Q. We saw Philly come back from being down 3-1 against Boston in the first round. And now the task is much taller, being down 3-0 versus New York. How much of a chance are you giving Philly here to come back?
Goob, I'm not giving the Sixers much of a chance to come back in this series at all right now. If they could even get one game, which is right now it's not looking like it. I feel like it's going to be a sweep. When you look at this series, the Knicks have averaged in the 3 games, they've averaged a 9. They play, man, you got to take your hats off to Coach Brown and then and the staff and then these players. They come out and they've executed. They've dominated this series against them, and it's been pretty much one-sided, led by big body Brunson and his scoring power that he's provided.
Yeah, and history tends to agree with you right there. Teams are 161-0 all-time in a best-of-7 series when they're leading 3-0. But before this series started, you said the Knicks won't have many answers for Joel Embiid, and he's averaging just 16 points in the 2 games that he's played. So how has New York been able to limit the former MVP?
Again, you got to go to Coach Brown and the staff for coming up with a great game plan, attacking, go to the players. They've done a great job. Like Cat Anthony Towns playing in those pick and rolls where his mobility has been limited and his health. The second thing is his health hasn't been what you would have wanted it to be. And when you look at the big fella out there and knowing what he's capable of doing and looking at how he's hampered, it's just his health is not there for him. And I feel like those 2 things combined have definitely limited him to those points.
All right, so moving on to the West, because Victor Wembanyama became the first player with 35 points, 15 rebounds on 70% shooting in a playoff game since LeBron James did it in the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals. So when you look at what this man was able to do, I don't even know if he's a man or if he's an alien. How do you put it all into perspective?
Now, I just look at it like Wemby is doing all of the things that you're supposed to do up to this point. The chase growth, the steps he's taking every year to get better and become more dominant. And he looks like like you say, like he's on his way to the moon right now as far as his potential and everything that he's going to be. His ceiling, I don't think he has a ceiling. He's putting in the requisite work to go to the legends and the different icons of the game to learn and pick their minds and implement things to his game. So I think it's inevitable that he's going to be the best player in the league, and it's probably going to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, most definitely. Q, thank you. Stick around. He'll be back later on to preview tonight's Game 3s. Thanks.
Yes, sir.